Alright, what's up? Arthur here, and welcome to my very first Infinite Warfare tips and tricks video. Today's video is going to be all about how to stay alive longer in Infinite Warfare by simply switching up your playstyle a little bit, sticking to the edges, paying more attention to the minimap, and so on and so forth. I simply wrote down a couple of things that I wanted to talk about in this video, but of course, as per usual, if there's something you'd like to add to this list, then definitely be sure to share your thoughts in the comments down below. And apart from that, let's get to it. Now, the first thing I wrote down is slow down your playstyle. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that Infinite Warfare looks like the love child between Advanced Warfare and CoD Ghost, and although it looks that way, there's a huge difference between them two games, CoD Ghost and Advanced Warfare, that is. If you want to do well in Advanced Warfare, you have to rely on your gun skill, your weapon van, and of course also your ability to react to certain situations. Advanced Warfare is a very twitch-heavy game, and accuracy is definitely key, whilst in CoD Ghost, positioning and moving from cover to cover is a lot more important than being able to react fast, because at the end of the day, in that game you die quick to a certain degree, where twitch reactions aren't really going to help you out in any way, shape or form. And Infinite Warfare is more so similar to CoD Ghost in that sense than Advanced Warfare, so definitely keep that in mind. And that's of course why number one is slow down your playstyle. Now, what I mean by that is no, don't sit in a corner somewhere, don't simply sit and wait, because eventually your opponents will catch on and simply kill. And of course, if you go back to the same spot, the same thing is going to happen in a matter of time. And also, don't rush around like a headless chicken. That too is simply going to get you a quick death, and obviously that's not the way to go either. Play this game with the same mindset as you did back in CoD Ghost. Move from cover to cover, play it safe, pace yourself, and you should be good to go, because at the end of the day, if you're moving from cover to cover and someone pops up in front of you, you've got a huge head start just because you can see their entire body and they can only see a fraction of yours, of course making it a lot more difficult for them to kill you. Anyway, so the next thing I wrote down is stick to the edges. This of course goes hand in hand with flanking. Obviously in Call of Duty, on every single map there's a choke point. This can be in the middle, this can be on the left side, this can be on the right side, but it's guaranteed. And I personally would simply recommend you to stay away from that area, just because normally speaking, you can't really tell what's going to happen when you get there. Yes, you could potentially get a ton of kills, but then again, the same thing goes for everyone else in that lobby, and 9 out of 10 times you're simply going to get yourself killed, which once again, isn't the way to go. Obviously, especially if you want to up your KD a little bit. So what I would recommend you to do is always stick to the edges of the map, just because in that case, normally speaking, you only have to worry about two sides, and that's in front of you and either to the left or the right of you. Now keep one thing in mind, the Infinite Warfare spawns at this point in time are a little fragile. They tend to flip pretty often, so also just check behind you every now and then just to make sure that you are still good to go. And apart from that, that is it. Now of course I know that a lot of you, just like me, are insane kill whores and always go to the middle of the map just in the hopes to get your Warden, your Thor, whatever it might be. And in that case I would recommend you not to rush into the middle of the map, but kind of stick to the outskirts. Take a map like Throwback for an example. Of course, you can simply stay in the middle of the map, stand on top of the trains, and pick people off as they come to you, but eventually they're going to catch on and simply kill you. This could be from the left, this could be from the right, in front of you, behind you. There's just no telling where they're going to pop up. So realistically speaking, after a little bit, you will die. Now in this case, you've got three options, right? You can either sit in the building to the left, you can sit in the building to the right, or you can go all the way to the back of the map and stay by those trains over there. Now personally, I would recommend you to go with option number 3, just because 1 and 2 are a little overcrowded at times. Eventually, people overrun you, and obviously that'll be the end of your streak. But at the back of the map, you have a ton of cover. If you jump up, you'll be able to see everyone in the middle of the map. And obviously, if they're either to the left or the right of you, you've got a little head glitching spot. Simply go crouch behind the wall, and you can pick them off one by one. And if you need to reload or need to regenerate your health, simply go prone and wait for a little bit. And once again, you should be good to go. Now, the next thing I wrote down is check the obvious spots. Now, I don't think that this one really needs explaining, but basically on every single Call of Duty map ever, there are certain spots that campers like to go to. This could be a building, this could be a tower, this could be a bunker, maybe just a little piece of cover. I'm fairly confident that all of you know exactly what I'm on about. And in this case, I simply want you to check these spots for some free and easy kills. Make sure there's no one over there, because otherwise you will see yourself constantly dying in the exact same spots, which is going to get really frustrating. Now, in terms of examples, when it comes down to the map Throwback, a lot of people like to sit in the building near the C flag. There's a little window over here that basically overlooks that entire area. This is a go-to spot for people. On the other side, there's a little silo, of course, also perfect for you to just sit and wait in there. Then there's the two houses in the middle I told you about on both the left and right sides. And then finally, in the back of the map, my go-to spots, you've got two trains and a ton of cover. That too is an obvious camping spot and one that is overused a lot. However, this one is a little bit more tricky to counter. In all of the other cases, a simple assault rifle or a simple sniper rifle do the trick. Maybe even a grenade back there. It's a bit more tricky. Then again, a spam grenade should do the trick. Simply spray and pray. That should do the trick as well. Just make sure you don't die in those spots. Anyway, so next up we have the map Frontier. Now this one is a bit more tricky just because this map reminds me of every map in Call of Duty Ghosts ever. There's not really a way to tell where your opponents are red. However, people do like to stick to the edges of the map. In this case, they like to camp in their spawn. Or of course, keep an eye on that hallway simply to wait for someone to poke their heads out. So keep that in mind, but realistically speaking, if you want to stay alive on this map, you want to make sure you prepare yourself for a gunfight every single time you move around the corner. So that means either dash in there, spray and pray and hope for the best, or simply ready up your gun already. So aim down the sides and slowly but surely move around the corner. In that case, you should be alright. And then finally, we have the map Frost. Now, I'm not too sure about the callouts on this map. Honestly, I need to work on that. I'll get to that when the full game comes out. Quite frankly, I couldn't find any callouts just yet. But the map Frost has a few very obvious camping spots. For starters, by the A spawn, let's call it the main building. In here, you will find a spaceship that has a little wing on both the front and the back side. And behind those wings, people like to camp lots. And with people, I mean myself, so definitely keep an eye on that. Then at the back of that hallway, by the C flag, you will also see a ton of boxes. People like to sit behind them as well. With people, I once again mean myself. Honestly, those head glitching spots are too damn deadly. And then obviously in the middle, you've got boxes on both sides of that building. And once again, those are very deadly head glitching spots, so keep an eye on that. And apart from that, I can't say I've used too many head glitching spots on that map just because I'm usually too busy getting from one side to the other side just to get a few more kills. So just play it safe, pace yourself, and once again, you should be good to go. Now next up, we have learning the maps. Now a lot of people like to do this just by running around like a headless chicken, which once again is going to get you killed. And of course, if you play it too safe and stick to one side of the map, you will never learn the maps. And in that case, you will never figure out what the best spots are, how to get from point A to point B safest. So in this case, what I would recommend you to do is make a stealth setup that you like. Either use an assault rifle, an LMG, an SMG, it doesn't matter too much. But use the suppressor, use the perk Ghost, stick to the edges, and in that case, you should be able to just move around the map freely without getting killed constantly. Now, a couple of days ago, I actually posted a K-Bar 32 class setup. Personally, I really like this setup. It's, of course, a stealth setup, so if you want to give this one a go, then definitely be sure to do so. It's the K-Bar 32 with either the reflex side or the elo sides. Also, a foregrip, a quick draw grip, and then finally the suppressor. Next up, for our first perk, we have Recon. This has to be my go-to perk in Infinite Warfare at the moment. Just because everyone and their mothers uses UAVs, and every single time an opponent calls in a UAV, you also get a single radar sweep. And every single time that UAV goes away, you once again get a little sweep, which is honestly very useful. Next up, of course, we also have Ghost, and then finally for perk 2. I've been using Hardline a lot just because getting streaks in this game is actually pretty useful. Like, realistically speaking, they're not too great, they're not going to get you a ton of kills, but it's a good perk. Getting a UAV or a counter UAV will always help you out, so definitely be sure to give that one a go. And apart from that, keep in mind the K-Bar 32 isn't as accurate as the NV4. However, this one packs a heck of a lot more of a punch at close range. And considering you want to move around the map, check everything out, that's really useful. Anyway, last but definitely not least, we have reading the minimap. Now, as you all know, I'm a Team Deathmatch player. I either play Team Deathmatch, free-for-all, gun game. And honestly, that's pretty much it for me. But I play Team Deathmatch, I want to say, what, like 90, 95% of the time? Maybe even more than that. So honestly, this is my go-to mode. So reading the minimap is very easy for me. If you like to play Domination or Hardpoint, honestly, I couldn't really help you out with that. But when it comes to Team Deathmatch, I definitely can. Basically, if you look at your minimap at any given point in time, you will see exactly where your teammates are at. Now, realistically speaking, the areas they're not at are danger zones. This is where your opponents might be and could even be spawning at. However, normally speaking, your opponents will spawn on the exact opposite side of where your teammates are at. Now, personally, I can give you two tips. There's two ways of playing this game. One, use your teammates as a shield, or two, stay the hell away from them just to make sure they can't get you killed. Now, obviously, if you like to use stealth setups, then I would definitely recommend you to stay away from your teammates just to make sure that you can stay alive for a little bit longer. But in a lot of situations, waiting for little meat shields is definitely the way to go. Especially if you're about to move into a high traffic area, just wait around for a bit. Wait for a teammate to go in there first and simply follow up behind them, and that should just about do the trick. Anyway, of course, accuracy is a huge factor in staying alive for a longer period of time as well. but I plan on making a video about that in the near future. Anyway, with that being said, let me know in the comments down below what you think of these tips. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, some support, a like rating would be very much appreciated. If not, that's cool. If you think that this video might help with your friends as well, then sharing it around would definitely be very much appreciated. And honestly would help me out a great deal. And then finally, if you want to, you can also follow me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. You can find all those links in the description. And for those of you who want to add me on Snapchat, it's Biotier on Snapchat, just like my YouTube channel. And then finally, in fact, as always, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the continued support. And I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy.